liftoff of the Delta rocket carrying GLAST.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Discovery Festival 2022. My name is Jessica Sosa, and I am with Big Brothers Big Sisters of Central New Mexico. We've had an awesome week of virtual exhibits, and we're so excited to have the U.S. Navy here with us for their exhibit today. And with that being said, I will go ahead and pass it over to you, Hector.
Hey, Hector, are you there?
Hector, are you there? Looks like we're experiencing a couple technical difficulties. Hang in there, guys. Sorry about that.
Uranium in the presence of water will cause fission. That chain reaction produces heat. We use that heat to generate steam. The steam we use for propulsion and to make electric power.
The job in the engineering plant in the submarine and the job in the engineering plant in the carrier are pretty much identical.
It starts with the power distribution, so that's that turbine-driven electrical generator, and everything from there goes out across the ship. Every bit of light that we see on board this vessel is produced by us.
We always have a standby generator, so if we lose one, parallel it in and have 2 generators running within probably 3 minutes.
We do maintenance on all electrical equipment on the submarine, not just in the engine room for the reactor.
As far as pumps, as far as the motor controllers for those pumps, circuit breakers.
2E, Tech 4, quarter 0, DT, Tech 5, circuit breaker.
So any loose bolts, any chips in the arc chutes here, everything checks out.
We use a lot of different types of multimeters to measure the voltage or the resistance or the current of components. We'll check the insulation of it to make sure that something is operating at full efficiency and it isn't starting to wear out over time.
You get to work with people who are super intelligent, who love what they do and will challenge you.
It's actually a really big space down there, and then you interact with, the mechanics, the ETs on a daily basis.
On the carrier, your job is a little bit more specialized, where you do mostly just maintenance and qualifications, whereas on a submarine, there's very limited space, so there's very limited people. Everybody has more collateral duties.
I think one of the coolest things about working with nuclear reactors is the fact that this ship, besides the fact that humans have to operate it, could go to sea for years and never have to come in for fuel.
The enlistment bonus is massive now, $40,000, just to essentially make it through the school. On top of that, re-enlistment bonus is $100,000, and you get half of that right away, so $50,000 in your bank account one day. It's pretty nice.
All right. Thank you so much for sharing that with us, Hector. And we'd love to hear more about your experience. So please share.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you guys for having me. Can you guys hear me okay now?
Yes,
Hello?
we can hear you.
Okay, there we are. Well, I apologize first of all for the technical difficulties. That is definitely one of the challenges that we face in the military. Our protocols are so protected from the public that at times it becomes difficult to share some of these things. So, in relation to the video that just showed, the nuclear program that the Navy offers is definitely one of the most technical jobs in the military. It is very lengthy in classroom setting and definitely 100% hands-on. And as you guys saw in the video, it has a lot to deal with energy transfers, and not the initial thought that a lot of people have when thinking of nuclear. It hasn't to do with nuclear weaponry, but it has to do with nuclear energy. And in the Navy, anybody can join from the age of 17 and be trained to be an operator in less than 2 years. So by the time somebody is 19 years old, they have the opportunity to operate a nuclear propulsion plant 100%, which is it's unheard of, honestly. Out here in going through college and through courses, it would take a minimum of 4 to 6 years, I believe, to get your degree, get some experience, and start working at a lab doing the same type of work. And that is just a general synopsis of one of the many STEM programs the Navy does have to offer. If there are any questions specific to this or anything else in the Navy, I'm open for questions at this moment.
Yeah, so we actually did get a few questions in. So the first one is, how do I pick a job in the Navy?
Okay, that's a really good question. I do believe that's one of the main questions asked, I believe. And it's going to come down to three categories. Number one, what you qualify for in the Navy based on an ASVAB test that we hand out, and physical well-being. So meaning any medical issues that you may have had in the past or are currently dealing with. And the ASVAB section being a math and English-based test. And you put those two together, and the Navy will let you know what field is best suited for you based on your scores and your physical standards.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Let's see. The next one says, how old do I have to be to join the Navy?
That's a really good question as well. So the minimum age right now is 17 years old with parental consent, meaning if both your parents or your guardians, both will have to sign. If parents are separated, both will have to sign still. And if there's only one parent involved, then only that one parent has to sign. So at the end of the day, 17 with a parental consent or some kind of a person taking care of the 17-year-old. And the age does go up to 42 years old now.
Wow. Okay. Thank you so much for sharing that. And then let's see. The next ones are, what can I do to get ready for the Navy, and what is boot camp like?
All right. And these are really good questions that are coming in. So the best advice I can give as far as preparing to enter the Navy would be definitely school. School is the beginning stages of everything. The better one does in school, the better chances of scoring high on the ASVAB, the entrance test for the military, would be. So definitely schooling, pay a lot of attention. Specifically, the math and English portions are big on the entry-level exam that we offer. And boot camp in a quick snapshot, it's really it's a course that we go through in order to strip ourselves of individuality and work together as a team. That way we showcase how much stronger one can be as a team as opposed to individual. Our boot camp, our Navy boot camp, is 10 weeks long, and that includes 2 weeks of mentorship and 8 weeks of training.
Wonderful. And can you elaborate on the mentorship portion of that?
Yes, of course. So after the 8 weeks of training, meaning, a lot of physical activity, running, push-ups, sit-ups, they train you on how to handle ships, how to handle stressful situations, how to work as a team. After those weeks of 8 weeks of that, the last 2 weeks of training of boot camp are mentorship based in the sense of how to be effective with our money, how to be effective with our time, how to be effective in the community. So it goes on to elaborate on how to be effective as an individual, personally and professionally.
Fantastic. Thank you for elaborating on that. Let's see. The next question is, do you have to know how to swim to be in the Navy?
That, I believe, is one of my favorite questions, because I do think that is mainly the main question asked about the Navy. And lo and behold, you do not need to be a very strong competitive swimmer whatsoever. There are multiple people actually yearly that go in the Navy not knowing how to swim. And the swimming portion of boot camp, it's a couple days long. And if you do not know how to swim, if you've never been in a pool, in a body of water, they will separate the swimmers from the non-swimmers. They'll take a few extra days to teach you how to swim, because the premise of that portion is really just to get you to swim enough to get to a safety, to a safety vessel or to a safety raft. So there's no need to swim laps. There's no need to swim miles. It's just enough to get you from point A to point B, meaning it could be anywhere from feet to a couple of meters.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for explaining that. Let's see. We're getting a lot of good questions in. So The next one is, what is the hardest part of nuclear engineering?
That's a good question. The hardest part of nuclear engineering, I do believe, would be the aptitude part, meaning that you'd have to have a very good understanding of electrical, mechanical, engineering, science. So you definitely have to be strong in science and math. I do believe that is the most difficult part of it. The physical aspect is no different from any other job in the Navy, but the mental aspect is definitely what separates nuclear power from the rest of the jobs the Navy offers.
And how long have you been in the Navy?
Yes, ma'am, and I'm sorry about that. I think all the technical difficulties threw me off. A quick intro about myself. My name is Hector. I have been in the Navy 19 years now. I did join when I was 17 years old. And in my career, I have been an apprentice. I have been a machiner's mate, which is operating the propulsion of the ship, non-nuclear. And I have been a construction mechanic, meaning, working on bulldozers, big construction equipment. And now I am currently a talent scout, aka a recruiter, here in the Albuquerque area.
Okay, and so let's see. There are a few. Hold on one second. Will you always be on a boat when you're in the Navy?
That is a really good question. Yes and no. I will say about 85 to 90% of our jobs do require some type of boat duty or ship duty. There are very select few jobs that do not require ship service, and that being one of the construction fields. With that, which I did, the construction mechanic part, we solely focus on construction, either on land or underwater construction as well. But the way we travel is via plane. And there are very select few jobs out there as well, like in the intelligence community, that don't necessarily require ships. You can work off bases as well. But the rotation for the Navy would be 3 years on ships, meaning you deploy once in a while, but you're home ported in a big city. Or you could be on land for 3 years, never deploying, never working on a ship, just working out of buildings as well.
Okay, thank you so much for all of this awesome information. The next question is, can you elaborate a little bit more on the STEM opportunities that the Navy offers?
Yes, of course, and it's unfortunate that I wasn't able to show. I had a PowerPoint and a few other videos to present today, but as far as students go, there are very many scholarship programs out there, summer internship programs out there available. I can definitely send out the links so that they're able to be shared and seen, and my contact information as well as it's displayed. But internship-wise, there are over 5 different STEM programs that the Navy offers. Anybody from 9th grade to 12th grade can apply. They're typically summer internships where you're able to work in labs or in bases with actual scientists or actual students or graduates that are in the process of obtaining their degree in that field. And aside from that, the Navy does offer a lot more different STEM-oriented jobs aside from the nuclear program. In the intelligence field, per se, we have a lot of cryptological jobs, deciphering code, making code. So yes, there's very many opportunities for after high school and during high school.
Wonderful. And also another one just came in asking what job opportunities look like when you leave the Navy.
That's a very good question. After the Navy, in the Navy per se, we go through many courses, from boot camp down to your technical school, down to the training that you do on a yearly basis. So in the Navy, we get a lot of certifications, there diplomas per se. And the Navy has a program instilled to where you can translate those certifications into the civilian world. That way, it's not a bunch of military terminology when you come out and put it on your resume. So we have a system in place to where it's integrated into the civilian environment, and everything that you did, can translate directly into either certificates or degrees just from the job that you were doing in the Navy. And I do see a lot of people, once they get out, getting into different fields. And the big benefit is solely the veteran background that you come out with, meaning the structure that people see, the leadership development. That's definitely very sought out by a lot of employers out here.
Great. And then let's see, it looks like the last one we have is just generally for you. What is your favorite part of being in the Navy?
I do believe my favorite, I think it's a two-part thing for me. Definitely the travel. I know for sure actually that I would not have been able to see half the places or half the countries that I have had it not been for the Navy. And the second to that would be the networking and the relationships that are built in the Navy or in the military in general are second to none. Because I do believe going through good times and bad times and hard times and easy times really bonds relationships. And that's one thing that I will take away is the friendships that I've made back when I was 17 years old and joined. I still talk to 19 years later. So definitely the travel and definitely the people.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for all of the amazing information you shared with us. Is there anything else that you'd like to share with the students and teachers today?
Yes, I'd like to leave with a note of, regardless of what the future holds, I do believe everything starts in school. And from personal experience, just do your best in school in the situation that you currently have, because the harder we work now, the easier it will be in the future. And thank you guys so much for this opportunity. Thank you for listening to me. Sorry for the technical difficulties, but please, if there are further questions, do not hesitate to reach out.
Great. Thank you so much. And don't worry about the technical difficulties. They happen all the time. I'm just glad you were able to still join us. And thank you again so much for you and from the Navy for all of your support for Discovery Festival. Again, I do just want to remind everyone that our in-person event is tomorrow. It's already here. It's crazy. From 9 to 3 at Expo New Mexico. So don't forget to register your classes and come join us tomorrow. We have some incredible sponsors, some incredible booths to share with you. So again, thank you so much, Hector. We appreciate your time. Take care.
Thank you, everybody. Goodbye.
Thank you. Have a good day.